The Premier League has basically ended. Champions are Liverpool, the three teams relegated, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester, and the only thing left is the fight for top four. So I thought, why not get in early and give you guys my team of the season. So again, there might be some wild shouts because it is my own personal team of the season. These are the players that I think have stood up to me the most over the entirety of the whole season. So I'm not really going to focus too much on Purple Patch players. This is about form, consistency, and also how much they contributed to their team. But before we get stuck into that, make sure you guys subscribe to join MB United, where we talk about Premier League, Champions League, and all sorts of football every single week. So without further ado, let's begin with the goalkeeper who I think has been the best is Matt Sells at Nottingham Forest. Matt Sells this season has been absolutely sensational for Nottingham Forest. And again, even Nottingham Forest themselves have been extremely sensational. They were in top four for majority of the season, coming off the back of a season where they were in the bottom half and looking like they might even get relegated. Now, of course, we're going to talk about the dominant Chris Wood up front. We could even talk about the dynamic duo on the wings, Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi. But there's no doubt that Matt Sells, week after week, has been putting in consistent saves, clutch moments, and keeping that back line intact. Now, whether or not Nottingham Forest finished in the Champions League or the Europa League, this season has been a fantastic achievement for the club. Next position we're going to focus on is right back, and it's only right that I stay in Nottingham for the right back position. Ola Aina this season has no doubt been the best right back in the league. Now, of course, there'll be shouts for other players such as Trent Alexander-Arnold, who won the league with Liverpool, or maybe even Tino Livramento, who's been playing fantastically for Newcastle. But Ola Aina this season has been, honestly, it's been a revelation. And even he said it himself. He feels like this season he's playing the best football that he's ever played in his career. Now, not only does Ola Aina have the highest number in terms of winning possession for any defender in the league, he also has that sort of calmness on the ball. The fact that he's able to dribble out of defense as well, calmly link defense to attack, and still be defensively solid. Sees him end up on my list for team of the season, and I think he might be one to look out for in the summer transfer window. Maybe. Now, onto my centre-backs. And I'm going to do these centre-backs together because I believe that there's no point just doing individually. We might as well do them together as we'll be pairing up together. And this centre-back pairing of Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel Magalhaes would be absolutely sensational. So first up, I'm going to give it to Virgil van Dijk. Now, Van Dijk this season, I think, personally, has returned to some of his best football he's played. Defensively, he still looks astute. He's still calm on the ball. He still has that presence and that aura on the pitch that, of course, some players, when they come back from injury, they're not the same. But Van Dijk, I feel like off the back of doing his ACL, I believe 2 years ago, it seems that he's just gone from here to here. Like, honestly, I can see Van Dijk still playing at the top of the game for maybe even the next 4, maybe even the next 5 years. They did have injuries to Konate, to Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, and all these other defenders in their team, but Van Dijk was a stalwart in that team, the leader in that team, to ensure that despite these injuries, they can still press on and win the Premier League come May. In fact, they even won it in April. And right next to him, Gabriel Magalhaes has been absolutely sensational for Arsenal. Not even this season, but I'd say over the last 2 seasons as well. Now, not only does he command his defensive box and also act as a leader in the team, but we've seen it. We've been calling Arsenal set piece FC, and that's because on the end of most of these set pieces, it's Gabriel Magalhaes just notching in those goals. Now, unfortunately, Gabriel has been ruled out for a number of weeks with an injury. And over the last 3 Premier League games, we've seen Jakub Kiwior step up to partner William Saliba. And despite Kiwior still doing well, it's not the same. Set pieces aren't being scored. The defense doesn't look as rigid and airtight as it did when Gabriel was there. And I think this just speaks even more so to his importance and his growing stature in the game. Like, honestly, I don't think there's many Premier League centre-backs or many centre-backs in world football that are better than Gabriel Magalhaes. But who knows? I could be wrong. As I'm going along in this team, make sure you guys comment down below. Do you agree with some of the players that I've chose or do you completely disagree? Next up, left back. And this one was a little bit more difficult than I thought it'd be. The left back slot has to go to Anthony Robertson at Fulham. Now, the reason I say it has to go to him is not only for what he's done this season, but a contrast to how he was playing last season too. Now, one thing that Anthony Robertson has is bags of pace. He's always had it and he probably always will. But last season, it seemed like he had finally realized that, oh, this is the Premier League. Things need to be done a bit more carefully, defensively. I need to be a bit more aggressive. I need to be astute in my, Now, last season, it seemed like he was like, okay, yeah, this is the Premier League. I understand it now. Like, you have to be not only fast and be able to recover when your winger does get the better of you, but you also need to be aggressive in your defensive actions. You need to win your duels, both on the ground and in the air, intercept wisely, not always charge into your attacker, and win the ball. And it seems like he's taken all of those things and done it this season. And look, I can't lie to you, there's no shock that he's one of the highest assisting defenders in the league with 10 assists so far in the Prem. He's proven his worth. Now, on this video, I'm not going to touch on stats too much because there's about 3 games left to play by the time this video comes out. So there's no point saying these are their stats as if it's ironclad and done straight away. Who knows? I might come back to the end of the season and say, this person, nah. and switching someone else, but that's highly unlikely. I'm probably not going to change my word. There's no doubt that Anthony Robinson has been sensational this season. I feel like it's one of the reasons why Fulham have been high flying, and I guess even at the start of the season, that's why they were soaring quite high. And obviously, with certain injuries, people dipping in and out of form, saw them lose points, probably drop a couple of positions in the table, but they're still going strong. I think this is one of Fulham's best seasons they've ever had in the Premier League. Now onto the midfield, and this is where it gets a bit political. It was a bit difficult to pick 3 midfielders because I wanted to play a 4-3-3 with this team. But honestly, I think the one person who I did not struggle to choose in this team is definitely Ryan Gravenberch. Now, Gravenberch has been around for a while. For those of you that remember when he was 18 breaking out at Ajax, he was absolutely sensational. He went on to Bayern Munich and it was like, okay, he's finally going to get that big move to prove himself in a big club. And it didn't work out. So now he's come to Liverpool under Klopp in his first season last year. And it still didn't really click until Arne Slot came in this season and made everything about this Gravenberch transfer make absolute perfect sense. The way that Arne Slot has transformed Gravenberch's play is nothing short of, I don't want to say genius, but this is where a coach really earns his stripes. I think before, Gravenberch was used a bit higher up in the pitch and it seemed a bit awkward. Maybe not necessarily for him in that position, but where he was playing and how he was playing within the overall system of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, I don't think it was making too much sense. However, with Arne Slot's Liverpool, the fact that they like to actually build up in possession, string passes together and move up together as a unit, I feel like this suits Gravenberch a whole lot more than Jurgen Klopp's rock and roll football. And that's why we're seeing week in, week out, him put in at least 7 out of 10 performances. I'm not going to go into stats too much, but Gravenberch has been one of the best Premier League midfielders this season. Just from watching him and watching how he plays alone, he's been incredible. This might come across a bit biased, but honestly, it is a very, very difficult toss-up between who I need to put in this team to make it make sense for the overall team of the season. But there's also been some standout performers that have performed incredibly well. But it's only right that midfield duo is Gravenberch and McAllister. Those two as a unit together have been great this season. And it's one of the most important reasons as to why Liverpool have been playing so well. McAllister, for example, coming up with clutch performances in clutch moments where, again, I don't want to say the team is looking stale or no one's really ticking in the team, but he'll come up every now and then with a clutch screamer from outside the box to just lift this Liverpool team. And the fact that he's able to just play these cute little passes around the corner, his positional play is he's been absolutely sensational. And I think the only person that would potentially trump him in this team would be Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle. And that's more so because he is just a dominant presence in that sort of pocket of holding midfield, linking the defense to the midfield and the attack. He's been sensational. But the way that Gravenberch and McAllister have played together as a unit, yeah, they've been sensational this season. Maybe I should put in all 3. No, maybe stick to your guns. Stick to your guns. Now, moving on to who plays at right wing in the team of the season. This is probably the easiest one. It's a slam dunk. It's a home run. It's Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been incredible this season. I don't think I can speak highly or even more highly as I have done already on my channel about Mo Salah this season. I might even do a separate video for him at the end of the season because of how great his campaign has been this year. Now, not only has he broken the record in the Premier League for the most goal involvement, but he's going for the most goals in the Premier League ever. Erling Haaland broke it in his first season, and Mo Salah said, yeah, I can do that. And I honestly think he might match it. I don't know if he'll break it, but I think he'll match it. And not only that, he's going after Thierry Henry's assist record as well. Thierry Henry's record has stood for years at 20 assists, and no one has broken it. The only person who came close was Kevin De Bruyne, who matched it all those years ago when City were, of course, still winning the Premier League year after year. Mo Salah at the time of recording has 18 assists. And like I said, there are about 3 or 4 games left for him to either match it or potentially even break it. And yeah, if he breaks it, there are some serious conversations and serious, standings that Mo Salah is going to place himself in. I feel like personally, he's already slotted himself into one of the greatest Premier League players ever in terms of foreign players and in terms of attackers. I definitely think he's up there in the list. Top 10 for sure, maybe creeping into top 5. But if he does this, he breaks this record and then potentially breaks the goal scoring record again, he might see himself go down as maybe even top 3 Premier League players of all time. And it's a bold statement, it's a bold claim, I know, but greatness is bold. Yeah, or whatever that means. I've tried to say something philosophical, but you get what I'm trying to say. Now, moving on to the left wing position. In left wing, this one was a bit difficult because I don't think there's been any actual left wingers that have been standout and amazing this season. Of course, we can talk about, Anthony Gordon, who's been great this season for Newcastle. We can even talk about Cody Gakpo at Liverpool, alongside Mo Salah, who's been putting up the numbers, putting up the performances, but I don't think it's enough to warrant the team of the season slot. Now, for this reason, I'm going to shoehorn someone else in. Someone who can play that position, who has, I think, played that position before. I have to shoehorn Bryan Mbeumo, because Bryan Mbeumo this season has been fantastic. He's got 19 goals in the Premier League. Let me say that again for you. 19 goals in the Premier League for Brentford. And I'm not saying like Brentford are trash. I can respect Brentford, and they're a great team and they're doing really well. But this season, we're seeing more of in fact, not even this season. Over the course of the last 3 years, we've seen a year-on-year improvement from Bryan Mbeumo. And the fact that now he's stepping into, I guess, the territories of you want this striker to be scoring 20 goals a season, he's stepping into that territory, and he doesn't look like he's even at his final form. He's still quite young. I mean, despite him being bold and whatnot, he's still about 24 years of age, which means that he can get into another gear. I think this is only Bryan Mbeumo in gear 4. When he gets to gear 5 and gear 6, he could be a very, very dangerous type of player. And it's funny because despite him playing predominantly as a right winger, he was never going to get in this team over Salah. However, I would say that he plays a lot like Salah in the way that he is a winger by trade, yes, but then he does a lot of his movements and plays very much so like a central striker. He likes to get into those tight little pockets. He doesn't really go out wide per se, I guess, on the edge of the box. I'd say Bryan Mbeumo is that type of winger that is more like an inside forward as opposed to a traditional winger. And when I say inside forward, I mean someone who doesn't necessarily go all the way out wide and all the way towards the, I guess, the edge of the box. No. For me, Bryan Mbeumo is more of an inside forward than a winger. And this is why I say he's very similar to the way Salah likes to play as well. Because I don't think he's that type of player that operates in that kind of quadrant or field where it's like the edge of the box to the byline. He more so likes to act in the edge of the box to the edge of the semicircle at the outside of the box, if that makes sense. I'm trying to visualize the pitch. There'll be a graphic on screen so you guys can see what I mean. But in my head, it's like that's where Bryan Mbeumo likes to play in. And that's what makes him all the more dangerous, because he is skillful. He can dribble past his opponent, but then his finishing is reliable, is consistent. And that's what sees him get so many goals for Brentford. My only thing is that if he moves to a team such as Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, with better players around him, I feel like Bryan Mbeumo could go on to new heights and potentially, I don't even know. I feel like Bryan Mbeumo can get to that type of potentially Salah level. I think that might be a ceiling. And for that reason, he sees himself slot into the left wing position in my team of the season. It might be a bit controversial, but that's just how I feel about the Premier League this year. Now, my creator-in-chief, my number 10, if you will, for this season, I am going to go rogue. I'm going to go extremely rogue. I'm not going to say Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not going to say Bruno Fernandes. I'm not going to say Cole Palmer. I'm definitely not going to say Martin Odegaard. I'm going to say Justin Kluivert at Bournemouth. For me this season, I've loved Justin Kluivert's revival. Personally, I think he's been one of the key factors and the key driving forces behind Bournemouth's, I guess, European surge and their consistent form in the league. But this season, I really feel like he's found his groove in the central areas of the pitch, playing just behind the striker and in a system under Andoni Iraola where your position as a number 10 isn't too fixed. The fact that he is able to drift out wide, but operating predominantly in the middle, I feel like this suits Justin Kluivert, and we're seeing him put up great performances, leading their scoring charts and being crucial for when they're either leading attacks, going on counters, or just putting passes together. I've loved watching him this season, and I don't feel like anyone else in that number 10 position has been, I guess, as consistent and, as important to their team as well. Like I said, Cole Palmer's been on a bit of a goal drought since the turn of the year. Kevin De Bruyne has been injury prone. Bruno Fernandes, he has been playing well for Man United, but Man United as a whole have been struggling so much this year. It's a joke. Same with James Maddison. Odegaard's been underwhelming. I think the only person I can think of who comes close to his level of importance and consistency over the season might be Mikkel Damsgaard, but I could be wrong. Now, lastly, for the number 9, the striker, the one who's going to bag the most goals for this team of the season, I am choosing Alexander Isak. Now, it's not as straightforward as one might think, because like I said earlier in the video, Chris Wood for Nottingham Forest has been fantastic. And of course, Erling Haaland, despite City's slump in form and his injuries, still has around 21 goals. It's still a great feat for a striker. And then, of course, we've got players such as Jan Wissa, Mateus Cunha, and even Ollie Watkins up there with around 15 goals this season. But Alexander Isak, I personally think, has reached a new level this year. Now, when I say I feel like he's gone to a new level this year, I'm not necessarily saying that he's gone from being a great player to now a world-class player. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that I feel like in himself, he's grown in his assuredness. He's grown in his confidence, in his maturity as a striker. And in doing so, has unlocked a new level of fear in his opponents. I feel like last year and maybe the season prior, people were like, oh yeah, Alexander Isak, yeah, he's a great player. He's good. He's skillful. He can score. He's okay. He's not that consistent yet, but he's okay. But I feel like this year, he's unlocked a sense of, I guess, inevitability about him amongst other Premier League teams. It's not just the fact that, yes, he can put the ball in the back of the net consistently and has a bit of pace about him too, but it's also the fact that he picks up these weird kind of areas. He likes to drift out wide to the left-hand side, dribble a little bit, link up with play. He can drop deep if need be, spin, and then make the run. The fact that he has a lot more in his bag now, it's like, for defenders in the Premier League, they're like, he's asking me more questions. I have to answer more questions, and I have to be on my toes at all times. He doesn't just have one thing in his bag. He's shown that he's got plenty of tricks up his sleeve. Now, if you pair that with the fact that he's bagging consistently, and most importantly, he's staying healthy, he's staying injury-free, this puts together a package for a very, very deadly striker. And now whenever Newcastle play, it seems like, oh yeah, Alexander Isak, of course he's going to get a goal because of all of what I just mentioned now. So there we have it. That is my Premier League team of the season. In goal, we have Matt Sells at Nottingham Forest. Then we have Ola Aina at right back. And in the centre-back pairing, we have Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel Magalhaes. And to finalise the defence, at left back, we have Anthony Robinson. My midfield two, my midfield pivot, if you will, Gravenberch and McAllister. And then out wide on the right-hand side, we have Mo Salah. And playing sort of out of position on the left-hand side, we have Brian Mbeumo. Our main creator-in-chief for the team, Justin Kluivert. And our number 9 to finish off all the chances, Alexander Isak. That is my Premier League team of the season. I want you guys to smash a like if you've enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed my breakdown. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below, commenting either if you agree with some of my choices or if you completely disagree and my team of the season stinks. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. Join the channel and join the community, MB United, of football lovers who love talking about Premier League, Champions League, Serie A, all these types of football leagues. We love football, and that is that. So if you like football, if you love football, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join MB United. It's as simple as that. Another quick note, thank you guys so much for the support recently you've been showing on my videos. I'm almost at 2K subscribers on YouTube, so make sure you guys share this channel around. I'm going to be doing something special for 2K. I might do a bit of a giveaway and some other things as well. So make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned. Now, there's another video popping up on screen, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this video just as much as you enjoy this one. So make sure you guys click that one, and until next time, keep it real, and I'll see you when I see you in a bit.